A lot of these questions are very difficult for me to answer because they deal with county government or state government. And I think for the next time we do this, what we should try to do is invite President Nez, Governor Herbert, the county commissioners, and myself, so that you don't get this feeling of everybody saying it's somebody else's responsibility, right? If we're all here together, we can kind of work it out. Because I tell you, it would be unacceptable to me if I lost my daughter and it took 2 hours for the police to respond. And I don't mind you for being very concerned about that. And yet nobody can tell you who's ultimately responsible for that. So I don't know if we can get the governor, and I don't know if we can get President Nez. Maybe it's the lieutenant governor and somebody like that. But I really think that next time we get together, we should really try hard to have all the levels of government represented here, so that we can get you answers and decide between us who's responsible for these different types of problems that you have. Many of the environmental issues that you brought up are my responsibility. Many of the road funding issues are state and county responsibilities. So the law enforcement is tribal responsibilities, and so you are in a much more difficult position to figure out who's ultimately responsible because of these multiple layers of government. And I think commissioners, you'd probably agree with me, it'd be great if we could have all of those people here at once to answer your questions.
Mr. Congressman, I will set up a date to where Willie and I will be there to meet you. The request you're asking for has been done. We met with the President, Attorney General on both sides. I think it's about time that we're Congress, Arizona, New Mexico, you all sit down and start collaborating to see what the quick remedy would be, because we certainly will provide you some information and some details of where the deficiencies are. And I would recommend that we meet and talk, and maybe later on, if you decide to bring in the governor and the president, it's totally up to you. But either way, I think we still need to sit down soon.
I agree. My point is that, for instance, as a federal elected official, I have no authority over how your road money is spent. I have no authority over your law enforcement. And these questions break my heart because they're very, very important questions, and I don't know how to answer them. And that's where it would be helpful to me if we were all here at once. We couldn't say, well, it's the other form of government's responsibility. There's a lot of question in my mind between tribal responsibility and state government responsibility. I think you two are in a very difficult position with the county responsibilities and tribal responsibilities. It's very hard to find that line, right, about where you're responsible and where that moves over to tribal responsibilities. So let's meet, let's keep meeting, but let's see if we can get in a position where somebody up here can answer all of these questions for everybody.
I'd like to recommend that you make a pure communication from your federal position to the state, and not only the state of Utah, but also to the state of Arizona representative. Because right now I'm feeling that trying to figure out how to penetrate, go through, eliminate, or lower the fences, or should I say the wall, which are jurisdictions. And every time at the meeting and all the places that I meet throughout the state, I say, these are the problems. How do we address it? Some years ago, when President Zong was in office, he went and literally developed an intergovernmental agreement between the state of Utah, the Navajo Nation, the state of New Mexico, and the state of Arizona to address all issues that are impeding on the Navajo people within these states. So that's the kind of agreement that should be revised to where we can do certain things and say, like Department of Transportation, they can't do anything in the state of Arizona. And I say, why not go with some type of agreement? That's where the downfall is. And they don't seem to begin to draft certain agreements across what they came with, cost deputization. Sort of like a cross-state intergovernmental agreement would be sufficient for me to work with. And I'd like to have your office coordinate and sponsor together.
I think that would be very helpful, and I agree. If we got to get these different people who have different responsibilities together and get